What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with another Tottenham update for you guys. Ben isn't available again today, so we are joined by the great Brian Daigle in the studio today to go through all the topics surrounding Spurs over the last 24 hours and where to start, but the goalkeeping situation and the news that David Raya on that potential move. And according to Dan Kilpatrick of the Evening Standard, Spurs and Brentford are currently in talks for David Raya. Romano follows his breaking news yesterday, saying that David Raya remains Tottenham's priority for the goalkeeping position and they will pursue a deal. Spurs feel the price could change as Brentford have already signed a replacement in goal and Raya won't sign a new deal there. According to Talk Sports sources, they say that David Raya is pushing for a move to Tottenham. Spurs are trying to convince Brentford to lower their 14 million asking price. No surprises there. And Lee Dykes, who's the director of Brentford right now, has been on the Beautiful Game podcast, and he said on David Raya's situation, he said, we sat in front of David and said, if you go beyond us, then that's your time to go. It's well within his rights. But 40 million fee, you have to double that reported 20 million fee because he can play in the number 10 position. He's that good. That's what Lee Dykes is saying. And according to the Press Association, Tottenham are the only club in discussions with Brentford over with David Raya's representatives and remain in pole position. And despite being linked to Chelsea, they have not been in touch at the moment for David Raya. So definitely legs at the moment with this potential deal. We heard from Romano yesterday that personal terms look set to be agreed. Is it time to get excited yet, or you never know with Tottenham?
Oh, it's a bit of both for me. This is getting more legs than a centipede now, isn't it? I mean, this is really gathering pace. I think it's a deal we've got to get done. Listen, we know what it's like when we have a chairman that says this is the price and you go at this price only. And we'll have to see if Brentford hold out for this or it does get reduced. If Brentford keep playing hardball and keep saying, nope, this is the price, just pay it. Just pay it. I think this deal does get done. I think this deal does get over the line. It's just a case of when it gets done. And let's just hope it does, because if we lose a one-horse race, it's not going to look good.
I wouldn't be surprised. But look, for me, I've said it consistently, David Raya is the one that I think that Tottenham should be going for, and I'm very excited about the prospect of him coming through the door. It seems as though Spurs are really trying hard to get him in early. And I am a bit surprised that no other Premier League team at the moment seems to be interested in going for David Raya or hasn't been in touch according to the Press Association. But I think that just means Tottenham have a run, on an early run at him compared to the other teams, and they've got to take advantage of that. And we know Spurs usually they like to dawdle and try and get a lower price as much as possible, which obviously can be a good thing. But sometimes in this kind of position, when the deal was there to be done, if you let it drag on a bit more, you do risk losing it in the end of the day. Yeah,
I mean, if you look at it, we've got a new manager coming in. We know the goalkeeper is the number one priority. I think the other teams you look around, even if you look at Chelsea and United, they may be looking for a different goalkeeper, but I think with their managers, they've got faith in what they've got, so it's not an urgency, whereas for us right now, it is a matter of urgency, isn't it? It looks like Hugo will be leaving after giving tremendous service. His time has come. And as good as Fraser Foster has been in deputising, he's still not someone you say, right, I'm confident going into the season as number one. So for us, this is a very important position to fill and needs to get done.
Having said all that about not wanting the deal to drag on, you do get the feeling that if no one else comes in for Ray, maybe they're looking for a bidding war, and if no one else really does come in for him, then surely that price has to be lowered because they've already signed a replacement already. So Ray wants to leave, so that he is going to leave this summer. It's just about when and how much, essentially. Next story is from Sammy Mockbell of the Daily Mail, and he talks about Rio Hatate of Celtic. He says Spurs are monitoring Celtic midfielder Rio Hatate, though there are concerns over whether the 25-year-old would qualify for a work permit. Obviously, he played under Postecoglou at Celtic last season, scoring 5 goals and getting 7 assists. He has kind of a good record when it comes to goal contributions out in Scotland, and decent in the J-League as well. At 25 years old, he does play in centre mid, so it would be perfect for like one of those 8 positions. But should we be looking at maybe a higher quality kind of player, or do you think that Postecoglou knows him well, so if he wants to bring him in, then you've got to trust the judgment?
So I can't really judge this player because I know absolutely nothing about him, but what I can talk about is what you just mentioned right at the end. And for me, right now, we've got to go with what the manager wants. It's not all about bringing in the money with all the big multi-million-pound signings. If this guy can come in and do a job, and Ange knows him well enough to think he can deliver in the Premier League, then you've got to listen to the boss. You've got to listen to the boss and go ahead and bring someone in he's tried and tested with.
At 25 years of age, he only has one cap for Japan, which is fairly surprising considering he's done quite well in Europe. But last season, 27 appearances, 5 goals, 7 assists. I've actually seen a bit of him, like not too much, but he does seem like a very good technical midfielder, tries really, really hard as well. One of those players who runs his socks off, and he's got decent technical ability as well. Obviously, at the moment, I can't say he's got like world-class ability, but in Scotland he smashes it out, and he seems to be ready for a step up. But whether he's ready for Tottenham is another question. At 25, maybe he should be. But you could argue he could be at a high level, but we don't know yet if his qualities will translate into the Premier League like they do in Scotland. So it's difficult to say how much of a good signing it would be, but he's definitely a profile player we need.
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, when we're looking at midfield, I think the thing we need to focus on is creativity. We need that creative spark. We need that person that can thread a through ball, set pieces, whatever they can bring. So that is, for me, I want to focus on defence and goalkeeper a lot more. But again, like I said, if Ange says this is a guy he can see playing a big part in his plans, then we need to bring what the manager wants.
Talking about the manager, Postecoglou, and Sammy Mockbell has been talking about his shake-up in the backroom staff. He says Postecoglou wants to add Celtic coaches John Kennedy and Gavin Strachan to his team before the start of pre-season. Importantly, the coaching duo want to come to Tottenham, who are in talks with Celtic over releasing the pair from their contracts. Matt Law chimes in and says Postecoglou has been told he can bring in 2 coaches from the outside, and the club has identified Chris Davis, who was an assistant to Brendan Rodgers, as one candidate. Celtic are keen to hold on to Postecoglou's assistants in Scotland, John Kennedy and Gavin Strachan, which has prompted Spurs to consider other options, including Davis, Paul Clement, and another ex-Tottenham player, probably Ryan Mason. And it says Ryan Mason is set to stay at Tottenham as Postecoglou identifies his backroom staff. That's also Semi Mockbell. So looks as though there is going to be obviously a shake-up in the backroom staff. Would you think Mason could be assistant manager, or is it too early for him for that kind of role?
I think, listen, there's a lot of talk about it. I think it's a little bit too early for him to be. I don't mind him staying on in the coaching roles. I don't mind him being in the background. He's going to be getting experience from a lot of managers that have come through the door. I've just got there's always that thing with him, like when he came first time, that he plays his friends, and that there's that click in there. So I don't know how I feel about that. But the Celtic ones, I know there's something in the contract that he couldn't take anyone. So again, it's going to need to be discussed. But the thing that does interest me is Paul Clement. As a coach, he has done very, very well as a coach, not as a manager, as a coach, and I would be very interested with that one.
Yeah, Paul Clement's been assistant manager at Chelsea back in 2009, was assistant manager at PSG back in 2012, assistant manager at Real Madrid as well back in 2013, and assistant manager at Bayern Munich back in 2016. So whole plethora of top clubs he's been assistant manager at, and also been fairly successful by and large while he's been at these top clubs. But as you say, when he has stepped into the top job, he was actually assistant manager at Everton as well under Frank Lampard for a bit, for a year before Lampard left. So when he has stepped into the top jobs, he hasn't really lasted long or done quite well. But as assistant, he does seem to have a lot of very good, valuable experience, and the top clubs keep coming back in for him, don't they?
They do, and I think people like Mourinho and other people spoke very, very highly of him, very, very highly of him at a coaching level. So even though there is that Chelsea link that we all don't really want to see, he is someone that I think if he did come into the coaching staff could offer a hell of a lot.
It'd be interesting to see how difficult it would be to get Kennedy and Strachan out of Celtic, because you'd think if we throw some money at them, that would be a deal that can be done. But maybe Celtic are maybe a bit more stubborn than we anticipate.
Maybe as well, Sim, it comes to the point where it's either you take our coaches or you take some players. You're not having both. And then it becomes which one is more important to Postecoglou, who have to wait and see.
All right, the next story comes out of the Daily Mirror, and they're saying that Tottenham may step up their interest in FC Seoul Kang Seung-jin following the appointment of Ange Postecoglou. He is a player that Spurs have had an eye on previously and considering making an offer this summer. However, Korean journalist Sung-mo Lee says Kang Seung-jin is indeed one of the hot prospects of Korean football. However, there's no concrete talks or negotiations between Kang and Tottenham at the moment. moment. Of course, the situation could change in the future. He's only 18 years of age. He's a young winger. He's got 2 caps for South Korea with 2 goals. But last season, for his club side, he didn't exactly play that many games. Still a young player. I'm glad we're maybe looking at the future. But looking at at the moment how much he's played, it does seem to be more of like a marketing transfer, but maybe he, as Sung-Mo Lee says, he is one of the upcoming stars, so maybe this guy's got a big future.
I think he has got a big future, not from my personal knowledge of him, but I have seen his name mentioned a hell of a lot on social media, and from what I'm hearing, quite excites me. And listen, we all know with Ange here now and his knowledge of the market in that area of the world that we are going to have a lot of links, and fair play to it. And this one, like you said, at 18, could it have a bit of the, like you said, the merchandising and marketing appeal? Yeah, there's no doubt. But this one has really excited people on social media. So this one, I'd be interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, but it looks like at the moment no concrete talks, so I have to wait and see. Last story of the day comes from Mundo Deportivo, and this is regarding Clement Lenglet, and they're saying that FC Barcelona and Tottenham are set to hold another meeting this week regarding the future of the centre-back Lenglet, who was waiting to see who Conte's successor would be. I'm sure he'll probably be happy in terms of the fact that Postecoglou is the kind of manager that Lenglet might see himself being able to play under, especially with his ability on the ball, but should we be spending money on a defender who hasn't really been a big upgrade and maybe what we had previously?
No. I'm hoping this meeting is to say that we are not pursuing him. I do not want him back at the club. He can't play a high line like Postecoglou. He's got no pace. The fact that Barcelona wanted to sell him cheaper than the original cheap price that we were quoted, I don't want this guy anywhere near N17. I just do not think he's a player good enough for us.
But for €6 million as a backup centre-back,
Nope.
Is that... No, you wouldn't even want him as a backup?
No. But what's the point of spending $6 million and paying? Listen, he'll come cheap. His wages won't be cheap. His wages certainly won't be cheap, and he's simply not good enough. Just because our defence is not good enough at the moment, I'd rather that $6 million, if it's led to believe that $6 million was used towards another defender, to add that $6 million on top, whether it be to cover wages, whether it be to cover transfer fee. There are many better defenders we can go out, I feel, that could do the role better in an Ange Postecoglou team than Clement Lenglet. I was not impressed with him at all last season and do not want him back.
That's fair enough. For me, I kind of agree. I'd rather spend money on a younger, hungrier defender who can be backup rather than someone like Lenglet, who we know we're going to have to sell at some point in the near future. I don't think he's a terrible defender. I just don't think he's good enough for what we want. And if we're saying we want to sign a high quality left centre back who can start every week, then you could say, okay, we could have Lenglet as backup. I'd rather just have like a 19, 20-year-old as backup who can learn from that great centre back who might make a few mistakes if he steps in, but at least he could grow and become a good player. Whereas Lenglet, that's what you see is what you get kind of thing, and he's never going to be better than what he is at the moment. And there's kind of no growth there, and it's a defender who's always going to be immediately upgradable as soon as he comes in. So I don't see the point in doing this deal, to be honest.
Add on to this as well, if Lenglet comes in, is that a club signing or is that a manager signing? Lenglet was here before. We were being rumoured with him all last season. Again, this isn't an Ange Postecoglou signing. This is a club signing. And I thought we're moving away from that. And I can assure you, Ange Postecoglou didn't come in and say one of the first things he said in his little media time that he was there, get me Clement Lenglet. I don't think this is some player that he would want to work with. He's got no pace. And if we do approach the high line, he's exposed. I just don't see how this is anything but a club signing again.
All right, well, that's everything today regarding Tottenham. That is your Tottenham update. So make sure you comment in the comment section below anything we spoke about today. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts. Thank you again, Brian, for joining me in the studio today. Like, subscribe, and comment below. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.